Hello, welcome back. This is going to be a quick video, not about Range Rovers, but about a mate in need of a Triumph Stag. If you like this kind of stuff, give me a thumbs up. If you don't, you can't turn it off, give me a thumbs down. If you want to tell me why, feel free. Contact me, churchhouseclassics, all one word, @gmail.com, etc, etc, etc. Merch in the description below the video. Thanks for watching. It's a bit of an odd one, this one. I belong to a kind of a small chat group of fellow Triumph Stag owners, very knowledgeable chaps, and one of them has just announced he's been taken very seriously ill. Only his car is currently without an ear side sill because he started cutting it all off and preparing to replace it. The chap who had been doing the welding for him is no longer able to do that, so he's kind of left without a car, not without a car but without a Stag to enjoy. So the group of friends got together. I put myself forward to do the welding, and there are other folk that are going to go along, do the body work, put the interior back in and so forth. So this video really is about me welding the sill back onto a car. Now the car is challenged. It's a great car and I love Stags, but the owner had actually found that the car was 1 inch longer on the passenger side than it was on the driver's side. Now this could have been a factory bodge, but also the gap at the door, the gap between the leading edge of the door and the trailing edge of the door is wider at the top than it is at the bottom. Now even when you take the T-bar off and cut the sill off the outside, it didn't move. So I think really the objective here was to get the car roadworthy again, so that the owner could get out on the road and enjoy it, and actually get the most out of his Stag as he possibly could. So enjoy the video. So here we are. This is Julian's Stag, 1977 Stag, British Racing Green, I think. Anyway, nice car. Bit of a 5-yard car. Anyway, he decided to start cutting the sills and so forth off. So we come down here, and hopefully you can see all this. I might get a torch actually. Let's get a torch him up, torch face. La 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 la. How do you turn torch face on? Yeah, presentation is, oh blimey, good grief. Right, okay, down here you can see we've got the side structure of the car. The outer wing is hiding up here. So here we can see the outer wing. It's cut off the bottom of the outer wing. The key objective here was to weld on a new sill. Took it all apart. Julian doesn't weld and he's also been taken rather poorly. So I've kind of volunteered through a group of mates to come down here and weld it up for him. Travelled down from High Wycombe this morning, and really just a case now of getting this thing together and strong. So Julian has already fashioned up an enormous section of panels which I'm hoping are going to fit straight in, and then I've borrowed my mate Paul's welder, because mine's down in Devon, in order to do this. As you can see, a lot of it is kind of really just ready for panels to be welded on. If I balance you here, and we put you like that, so what have we got? Actually got here this. I think that is going to go. There we are. So that panel goes like that. That's going to be fairly straightforward to weld in, isn't it? It's nice that he's done all this work on this, and like I say, I really just want to get this car back up and running. There is one section here that I can't see, and that's the closing section on the sill. There's nothing to go around here, so we're going to need to find some steel to do that. I've got the wing repair section, the bit that goes right over the outside, and that's there. That goes up like that. Jottled on the edge, but yeah, it goes up there like that, and then the sill goes underneath it. So yeah, in fact that's interesting. It's not quite long enough. Why would they not make it long enough? How interesting. Right, we'll have a play with that my key objective really today is to, oh look, he's welded the closing section of the sill onto the end of the sill, under there. You can see it there, look at that. Right, so I'm going to get myself organised, have a mouthful of coffee, weld this up. Now I'm looking at a piece just ready to fill in a section of the floor. It needs to be teed up against the inside of the sill. It's not a factory repair, it's going on like this. So I need to kind of clamp it into place, then it's going to need to be percussed downwards. Because basically that needs to be brought down, but I want to weld here and up here first of all, and then percuss this downwards. And I think we should be in a better place. And then this piece goes over the top of the outside of it. Again, homemade panel, but we're not going to need all of that. We'll see. We will see. In fact, I am wondering, no, can't be asked. Just thinking, this piece here might be excess. Because, let me get this out. The reason the floor piece is going in is because there's a big hole in the floor and on top of the cross member there. And then I want to fill in that piece there. But I don't really need, I suppose, if I could clamp that piece down against the top of the sill, it would make life a little bit easier. And then this piece here is designed to go over the top like that. You see what I mean about kind of, we're kind of doubling up on the amount of steel we actually need here. I might need to just trim this corner back here, I think. I keep banging my head on this. It's not funny. Don't laugh. I think it will just percuss downwards. And then I can work out what I'm going to do with the outside bit. Let's just do it. Let's weld it. Right, just putting a couple of closing pieces in here on the inner sill section, box that hole in, and we're done on the inner sill. Then I can start the arduous task of measuring up and getting the outer sill into the right location. There's going to be a few welds, bits of pigeon snot back here, thank you Paul, that need grinding back. It's not my best welding. Trouble is, I'm using gardening gloves because I left my gauntlets at home, and my welding style is to actually rest the torch on my finger, and of course I can't do that. My fault for forgetting in my welding gauntlets. But these things, these were the best I could find at the shop yesterday. Kind of leather work gloves. They get pretty warm. But it's getting there. It is getting there. We are currently, so I've been here on this, so probably about 3 hours so far, fiddling and pissing around. Quick update time. Outer sill, as you've seen, I've had to do a little bit of fiddling around with it, but I've got it to fit and align nicely with the repair panel at the back end of the car here. I've zinc primed, etch primed everything inside here. Sorry, bright light down there. Zinc primed everything down there. I've cleaned off the transport paint on the inside of the sill and painted the edges, and I'm about to weld the jacking points. These two little fellas here, they fit on the inside of the sill there, and they act as a jacking point and also just as a strengthener on the inside of the sill. There is no internal structure, there's no middle sill on these things, unlike MGBs and so forth. It doesn't need them. Got a T-bar. What would you want a middle sill if you've got a T-bar? Oh yes. But it does mean they do have to do things like that. So I get those on. I'm running out of time today, so I'm going to be, I want to get this sill back roughly into place, put a couple of tack welds on it, and double check and triple check and quadruple check before I'm going to head down to my dad's, because I'm actually not that far from North Devon at the moment. So I'm going to head down to my dad's tonight, and then come back here on the way home tomorrow. I'm in a bubble, don't worry, before you start screeching. Right, I think I've got the sill as good as it's going to get. So we've got a reasonable alignment at the arse end here. I still need to do, there's a chunk I need to cut off the inner sill that's wrong, because that closing piece won't fit. The door still has an issue where it's too tight at the bottom, too wide at the bottom, so the whole door needs to be kind of pivoted somehow, but the fact that it's already dropped at the arse end means that there's something gone wrong with the alignment on this car. Nothing to do with this job. It was like it before. I think that, you know, when you cut a sill off a car and you take the T-bar off it and it doesn't shift, you've got an underlying problem here. This piece here, I'm going to end up butt welding this. It's got a jodled edge along the top of it. I don't want to cut any more of the actual wing out because it's already gone above the jodled edge here. So I will just run a cutting disc along this edge and butt weld that on once I'm happy that the sill is on and everything's in place. And I can already see a problem here. What's happened with that? That's got dented there. Also, this piece here, it's the owner's fault. He made a bit of a goof when it came to trimming, and he trimmed it just a bit too far. I've got a bit of steel at home I can fold over, and we can repair that situation. It's not going to be a problem. It's not a problem. Yes, we're starting to get there with this job now. So we are now, well, it's 5 o'clock. I'm not going to do any more welding because otherwise I need to be on fire watch for too long. But I shall finish this tomorrow, I think. I think I will. It's going to happen. Day 2. Okie doke. So today is the big sill weld day. What I've been doing here is I've got the outer sill on, I've got it clamped on at the bottom, I've got it screwed on at the top. It's 99.9999999% of the way there. When I spot weld the edges, I'm going to have to clamp nearby and then spot weld. Once I've done a couple of spot welds along the bottom, a couple of spot welds along the top, then I need to start working on what I'm going to do here. So we're going to need chunks of metal in here to join up the edges and so forth. I have found the closing piece here, which sort of fits. It's going to need some percussive maintenance, but before I start pissing around with that, I think what I might need to do is get the sill welded on. I know it's roughly in the right place now, which is all good news. I know that this is going to fit too. That all fits. So it all fits with all the pieces in place. Okay, so sill doesn't need to come off again now because all the edges are prepped up. So really all I'm doing now is just double checking, double checking, double checking, double checking, double checking, double checking, double checking. Right, I don't know if you're seeing, folks. We've finally got the back end to kind of where it can go forward from. It's not beautiful, but I've flashed it back. I'm worried about grinder sparks flying around in here, so I can't flash it back too far, but it's all solid and it's all back in one piece again. But it will need a needle file, probably outside at a later point. The rear wing section went on without too much. There's a tiny bit of distortion here, just a little bit, but then there's like so much bloody filler on this original panel anyway. I don't think it's going to make a huge amount of difference. Now, next thing I'm going to do, oh crikey, is sort this thing out. So what I'm basically going to do is I'm going to cut along between the green and the grey, cut it flush so I can butt weld that on. Then I'm going to tidy up the parts behind it and weld it in, and then go home. And down here you can see all the plug welds that I had to put onto the sill. Plug welded a lot. Again, they all need grinding back, but it's solid. This piece up here I think is just going to end up being a slab of filler. In fact, what I've done here, really, if we were to grind this edge here back, we'd end up with a door gap again. Just that bottom bit down there needs taken off. I might give that a go in a second. But I'm just worried about grinder sparks flying upwards, grinder sparks flying downwards, grinder sparks flying anywhere. So I'm probably going to lay off the grinder now because I'm going to be welding for a while. And then, I think then, fire watch for a short period of time. Right, we're done for now. I'm going to load the car up. It's 20 to 6 on a Sunday. I'm not happy with this front wing though. Not happy with the front wing at all. Sill's solid, but it's just I can't get that repair panel in properly. There's too much filler on the wing. There's too much distortion. It's just a mess. I've got it in the right sort of location. When you come at it from the front here, it's just got a massive indentation here. This bit is all okay around here, but this bit here almost needs a slide hammer to pull it back out again. So I'll let it all cool off, and at least Julian can drive the car now. He's going to go over this, I think, with some paint. Welded in the A post down there, you can't see. B post, largely done. Needs a bit of a Dremel in there to get right into the corner, but that's largely done. Only bit of distortion on this, as I said, is about there. The rest of it is fine. Yeah, I think we're done. I think fucking weldathon, 10-hour weldathon. Well, wasn't 10 hours welding. It was about, you know, maximum 25 minutes welding, but 10 hours of fabrication and everything. I can see here that this piece here is just sticking out too far here. The line is good. You can see a big bow there. It's as I've kind of been, and those bits there, that's not plug welds, that's where I just filled in holes that were in. Right, packing up. So this is kind of how I left it, and it got a bit rushed towards the end, and it's not the best way to work, and I'm very unhappy with the way that the front wing repair section went in. Personally, and you know, the owner agrees with me on this one. Personally, I wouldn't have cut it quite so far up. Just because you've got a big repair panel doesn't mean you have to cut and use the whole repair panel. I find it much easier to weld along the rib that's level with the top of the sill. Still gives you enough room to weld the new sill in properly, but it makes for a much tidier repair. Now on this one, the arch was all over the place, and I just, to be honest, I just ran out of time. But all of the welding was done. I'm now trusting in other mates to turn up. He tells me he's not going to use filler. There's a ton of filler on the car already, as you've seen, just clouds of white powder going up. It's almost like once the car had been prepped and ready for painting, and this is nothing to do with the current owner, and the current owner knew what he was getting into when he bought this car ages ago. Yeah, the car had a fairly healthy skim of filler throughout. And also it's not a standard colour either, although it looks great. Really nice colour, and it's his ideal colour. It's his dream car. He wanted a green Stag, dark green, not that lurid light green colour, but the dark green with a tan colour interior, and it is his dream car. But anyway, in theory he could drive it now, but I know that my mates are going to turn up and do the painting at the end of this week, and then we'll be able to kind of hand it back. It's a little bit of a car SOS? No, DIY SOS? I don't know, really just helping Julian get his car back on the road. But I hope you enjoyed that. Cheers, Julian. All the best, mate. Hot.